Let's go to Z in Eugene, Oregon. What's up, Z?
Hey, Dr. John. I recently came to find out about you. I wrote into the Ramsey show, actually, because I was struggling quite a bit and got directed to you. And
you got sent over to the B team. Sorry, man.
No. They had very nice things to say about you, actually. So, and started reading your book, the Own Your Past one. And it's been, first, just want to say, you have a very good writing ability. I write, I have no books, but you're a good writer, and a lot of the things that I've read so far really struck me. As I'm going through, I'm highlighting things and sharing things with other people where I'm like, is this not true?
It means the world to me. Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's been a great book so far, and chapter 2 especially really kind of slapped me in the face a little bit, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, I don't feel quite as crazy now because this is all true. But just to give you a little bit of background about me, I'm 34. Today is actually my birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. It's been for quite a while. Birthdays are tough. And I don't know why, but so I was born on Friday the 13th, and now it's Friday the 13th again. And I'm like, oh, this is a little strange, but, they've become hard. They've been hard for years and years because, in my late teens, I started to have some struggles with depression, and it wasn't anything really serious at the time. But then in early 20s, 23 or so, it hit really hard to the point where I had to go be put in the hospital and put on suicide watch and all that kind of fun stuff. And ever since then, it's been a very long, difficult struggle. It's been about 10, 11 years of that, where it's just like walking through a desert. And the worst part of all, so after my first real battle with major depression, where it was just sucking the life out of me completely and nothing felt right. And, you obviously are familiar with what happens. It felt like a mental cancer to me, is what it felt like. I don't know what cancer feels like, but mentally that's what I felt like I was going through, where I couldn't function and nothing felt right and nothing feels right. But after the first round of that,
I want to double click on that for a second. So you have is it that you are going through experiences and that you think should feel a certain way, and your body is just not responding with the right feelings? You hold somebody's hand, you kiss them, and the words I've heard often is, I feel nothing. Like my heart rate doesn't get up, and the adrenaline isn't pumped up. It's like I'm trying to start the car and it won't start, or your legs feel like concrete and you can't get out of bed. And someone could say, "Get up, dude," but I can't move.
And worse than that, I mean, the past 2 years especially, it's gotten to the point where I've wished for death, I've prayed for death, not because I want to die, but because I don't know that anybody dealing with a mental illness truly wants to die. I think they want the pain to stop.
That's right. That's 100%.
And so, yeah, and I mean, I don't want to say good things have come out of this, but some, I guess, because in the early days of this, I did drink and I did do some foolishness, and now I'm very careful not to do that stuff because it just makes it worse for me and probably for everybody. But so I don't do that. I don't do drugs or anything.
Okay, so let me. This is going to sound like a strange question.
Mm-hmm.
But alcohol worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even for a minute.
Definitely gave me something.
There you go. So my question right now is, I'm really, really proud of you for stepping away, because you were doing stuff that you knew in the short term and in the long term were no good. They made
Mhm.
you less versions of yourself.
Mhm.
But often, I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's Adler. One of the famous psychologists said something profound that has stuck with me. They said, I thought that if I took away my clients' depression and anxiety, I would make them whole. And
Mhm.
what I found is when I took away their depression and anxiety, I made them empty.
Mhm.
And there was nothing to backfill it. And so
Right.
you stop doing these tough things. What have you done in their place?
I definitely, at the time I was drinking and doing dumb stuff. Uh, I grew up religious, and I definitely wasn't for a long time. I definitely had some anger there. I've been trying to turn that around for several years, just because.
Hold on. Stop going to
Oh,
war with Z. I like you. Can I tell you that?
yeah, of course.
Um, I like you. Like I think you would be my friend.
Hopefully.
And I've been through, dude, I've been through profound seasons, years at a time when I was a functioning atheist. I've been a functioning atheist in religious environments where my job, like part of my job was my belief structure.
Right. Right.
And there's a difference between going to war with myself
Mhm.
and it's like going outside and staring at the sky and demanding that it look green. And it's like, it doesn't, it
Right.
just looks blue. And I can squeeze my hands real tight and I can bang my head against the hood of my car. It's just, right now it just looks green, man. I mean, it just looks blue. I can't make it look green. And so there was that switch for me that was, I'm just going to quit going to war with myself.
Yeah.
I will have people in my life that hold my actions accountable when it comes to belief and it comes to feelings. My systems are just don't work that great sometimes. And so I'm going to hold them really, really loosely. And I know some religious structures, I don't know your background with that. The looser you hold it, the more they tell you you're failing and that you're hated
Mhm.
and that you're not loved. And I want to tell you that's
Right.
nonsense and it's bullcrap.
Yeah.
It's not true. Okay.
Well, and I've been lucky to have good people in my life who
Awesome.
never made me feel like I was, what would you call it, like defective in that regard, or that I wasn't trying hard enough.
Awesome.
They've just been like, just keep moving forward. It doesn't matter, like, if you have a lot of faith or a little faith, just hold on to what you have and don't let go of it.
And
And so
sometimes there's going through the motions. I'm gonna do the right things, even though I don't know what
yes,
are we doing, right? So some of that too, right?
yeah,
But that can feel really
a lot of it.
hollow. Feel really hollow.
Yes, yeah. And, the people who have known me the longest, they can tell that. They can perceive that.
Sure.
But definitely,
So bring me to right now. Where are you right now?
well, the thing I was going to mention earlier is, so in the middle of it, I had a little girl born, and she is now 9. She has been, she's never known me without it, and she's seen a lot, and probably had to put up with a lot, as kids do, that I don't want to say is bad, but maybe not typical. And
Have you hit your kid?
no,
Do
I
you
would
love
never.
do you love your kid?
I do, yes.
Do you scream and yell in her
I
face?
actually, if you don't mind, like, the first shows I ever heard from you was about a dad who had left his daughter, and I was mind boggled the whole time. And I heard your reaction, and I was like, yeah, that's me. Like, I think I'd rather die than be split from my daughter.
Right.
But yeah, I do love her, and
So let me say
I
this.
definitely have.
She's probably doing pretty good.
I hope so. I do.
Nope. I'm telling you right now, she's probably doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some basic things you can do to hurt her outside of neglect and outright physical and emotional and psychological abuse. Doesn't sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine you feel like you're talking with a blanket over your head, or you're talking to her and you're underwater. That's depression, right?
Right.
Hey, listen to me. She hears you, and she loves you.
Yeah, she definitely does.
Okay.
definitely does.
You have an external voice that has the stories you tell yourself. So you read that book.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have these stories we're born into. We have these stories that we're told. And over time, those stories become the stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And depression is that
And
story.
the main story is just depression telling me that I've failed everybody and I've failed myself and
Right.
I'm not where I should be.
That's right. And all of that, none of that is true. None of it. And the challenge is, how can I come to a place of belief and truth in how do I challenge that story over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And continue to function in the day to day. You got to change the oil on this car while you're moving, right? While you're driving down the road. That's tough. That's a tall order.
Right.
Or have you reached the point where you're done? Or let me put it this way: you're getting really close to being just exhausted.
Yeah, it's been happening more and more in the past years, especially, where I just don't know how to carry on.
Okay.
And I mean, she's not getting any younger either. She's going to need me even more in the future.
She won't be better off with you gone.
Yeah.
And my promise, if you're new to the show, is I won't lie to you. And I would tell you if you need to get out of your child's life. I think I've done that before on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter will not be better off with you not here. Your daughter has an immense ringside seat to a dad who's experiencing challenges and continues to get up and do hard things for himself and for those he loves and cares about, which long term can be I can't think of a higher gift and honor you could hand your kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so far from robbing her of some childhood that was a fantasy to begin with, you're actually giving her some pretty extraordinary opportunities to learn and grow and see and experience and empathize and feel. She's lucky to have you as her dad.
I hope so.
Stop. I hope so. I don't know. I'm telling you. And
I don't know my own worth, but yeah.
Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this. This is my belief. I think if she wasn't here to kind of be like a lighthouse in the fog of mental illness, I don't know that I would be here, honestly. I don't want to think that, but there's been some close calls, we'll just say.
Okay. Have you tried?
Have I tried? I've luckily called somebody before as I was on the way to that.
Good. Do you promise me in front of all these people listening and your daughter that you will always make that call?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I do, I just, for your own knowledge, like I do therapy regular. I am trying to find the right medication. It's been kind of a long list of strikeouts.
So there's another side to that, right? And let's just call it what it is. That's my community, right? The mental health community. That's where I was born and raised.
Right.
But there's a point on the backside of a lot of counseling and the backside of the medication merry-go-round that everything feels like a waste of time.
Yes. Yep.
Is that fair? And there's almost a compounding effect. It's not going to work for me. That's despair, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have they given you exercises? It's the L-dubs, man, little wins.
Mm-hmm.
Have they walked you through that?
Well, yes, but I've not been very good about believing it, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I heard recently, and this was a profound, somebody was asking somebody about confidence. And they said, after working with a bunch of leaders and people, the most confident people I know are people who keep their promises to themselves.
Right.
And I think one of the roots of depression is I have lost the ability to trust myself.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely.
And
I
so
would agree.
the step out of it, yes, can be talking about it. And yes, absolutely finding the right medication. And if you got major depressive disorder, I'm telling you, just like if you had a heart challenge or you had knee surgery, you needed crutches for a season, finding the right medication is going to be very important. Okay. I have been there, my brother, and I'm here because of it. Okay. There's no weakness. Anybody who's like, oh, you're so stupid. You're not. I get frustrated with my colleagues who are medical professionals who just sprint to that being the first solution on every little discomfort. That's not where you are. Okay. There's a difference between I keep eating marshmallows and I throw up and stomach cancer. Both of them are right challenges with your guts. One of them takes significant intervention. The other is like, hey, how about you quit eating marshmallows? Right. So I don't want you to beat yourself up because of the interventions you might need to take to feel well. Okay. Yeah. It might mean that you need to sit down with somebody and who knows about ketamine, or you sit down with somebody who needs to go through childhood traumas, or you need to go explore, get into medical trial for psychedelics. I think like there's the treatments for irretractable depression right now are extraordinary. They're making some significant progress. The challenge is don't give up on yourself, right?
Right. And luckily, some of those kinds of treatments, like I've followed up on, and like they've offered like a sliver of hope, which is something.
It's awesome. So here's the thing I want you to practice on your own. Will you do this? Okay, so I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page. You are committed to staying connected with professionals, both mental health professionals and medical professionals, right? Okay, cool.
Right. So I think my life depends on it, I would say.
Awesome. Hey, mine too.
Yeah.
Okay, mine too. They put me under these bright lights and I'm sitting in front of a microphone, but mine too. Okay. Same team.
Yeah.
I want you to practice something. Will you practice something?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I want you to go to Walmart or go to Walgreens or one of these little corner stores and buy a small little journal for like $9 or $10. Okay. Nothing fancy.
Yeah.
And inside of it, I just want you to write little win number 1. And then I want it to be really, really small. Like, I will have breakfast with my daughter 2 times this week. That's it. And here's 2 things are going to happen. Number 1, I will have breakfast. I will have breakfast with her. It might be that she goes out and goes to school, gets on the bus and goes to school, and I go right back to bed for the next 2 hours. I will have this breakfast.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a voice that says, what kind of freaking loser are you? You can only have, it's this much of an effort to have breakfast with your daughter. God, she would have been better with any other dad in the world. I want you to write that story down.
Right.
Okay. You have to begin to get those stories out of your body onto a piece of paper where you can objectively look at it. And when it takes over your fight or flight response system, there is no more rational thinking about it because your body's at war.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that story comes, cool. And then here's the other story. There's going to be a week that you can't make it. You get up for one and you can't do it. That's when the pit opens up and you fall 7 stories into the black hole, right?
Right.
Before you fall, before you jump, I want you to be curious, not declare civil war on yourself. So I want you to be curious about, what was my body protecting me from this week that made that exercise, that little win, really, really hard? And if you approach your body with a sense of curiosity instead of a sense of shame and you suck and like it's defective and there's a different chemical pathway, different chemical solutions to that. Does that make sense? It's just a posture.
Yeah.
I'm going to quit hating Z because you know what? Nobody else does, dude.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a hard question?
Absolutely.
Have you done stupid stuff?
Absolutely.
Me too. Have you been really in a dark place and thought this is it, and then you woke up and the next day the sun came out?
Yeah.
Yes, me too. You're not by yourself. And maybe you never heard this. You are worth being well, dude.
Yeah.
And you're worth laughing and being silly and being goofy and saying I'm sorry because you're going to do more stupid stuff over the course of your life. But most importantly, you're worth not giving up on, Z. This is despair,
Thank
right?
you.
Continue to go down the rabbit holes for some of these new interventions.
Mm-hmm.
They're the literature out there is very, very encouraging. My private conversations with people who've gone through them, it's extraordinary.
Right.
It's really magical. Okay. But
Yeah.
I want to make sure we got your promise. You're not giving up on you.
No.
Awesome.
Because the way I see it is if I give up on me, I'm giving up on the people I love, and I don't want to give up on them.
Okay. But also, you can't run your life
based on other people alone.
At some point, you got to look in the mirror and say, I'm so glad that I'm here.
Yeah.
As bonkers as everything is, I'm glad that I'm here.
Yeah.
Will you do 1 week of little wins and then write me back and let me know that you made it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you do, I'm going to celebrate with you.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, I'll do it.
And listen, when I had both my knee surgeries, I had to learn how to walk again. I kicked too many people and got kicked too much over the years. And I had to learn how to walk again. And that meant I had to have 2 professionals, one on either side of me, holding me up while I held another little cane thing. And we took a step and then another step.
Right.
And I never saw to this morning the squat workout I did and then going for a run. Like I didn't think that was ever going to happen. It is. And so you're going to feel stupid and small and little and less than by doing these little win exercises. All you're doing is reteaching your body and brain how to feel.
That's fair.
How to win. Not even how to win. Like how to win, bro. No, that's what I'm talking about. But like how to engage in life. Fair?
Yeah. Fair enough.
All right, my brother. Hey, I love you. I love you. And you've been fighting a war that most people have no idea about. And you go to the grocery store and you're at war. And you sit with your little daughter and you're at war. And you sit in the mirror and you're at war. And I want you to know you're worthy of peace. You're worth peace. The light's not going out, man. There's still hope. I'm glad you're with us.